In 3. 2. Oh, right. Wait. Why is it crooked? Alright, we're in orbit. It's kind of a wonky orbit, but that's okay. Something tells me we're going to need it. Going to bring our orbit out just a little bit so it intersects. One more jump will just about do it. We'll probably get there before. Yeah, I thought we would. You suck. How much is this? 13 distance? Alright, let's do this. Oh, baby. Slow down, mama. Slow way down. Okay. Give me a second here, I'll recheck, just a heartbeat. Now that they have wheels, aren't the parachutes on the Orions kind of... You know, I should take some of the parachutes off. That would help with some drag, weight, and a bunch of other stuff. Honestly. The parachutes were there to make sure that the craft was absolutely safe, no questions asked. I suppose I could take some of them off. So I was listening to some people that were watching the new Star Trek Academy. Now, in its defense, I haven't seen it, so I can't judge for myself, but the way it's being described, woof. Alright, there she is. Let's make sure that she's ready for cargo. Bring this down, okay? Alright, let's see what we can do with this now. I've kind of gotten accustomed to this camera thing. I really do like it. Easy now. Slow down. Look at that. Coming right up to it. Now don't get me wrong. I liked it when I guessed. Where everything was. It made it more challenging, for sure. Oh my gosh. It's a little... Okay. Easy down. Back. Honestly... Fuck. Sorry. The camera was actually messing me up. The camera was actually messing me up. It looked cool, but it was messing me up. Oh, Exonar. Yeah, I remember that one. The ship looked really bad. It looked like a good story, but the ship looked really bad. I guess they were trying to make a hero ship and it ended up with comically giant warp nacelles on it. Okay. As a Trek fan, what did you think of Orville? I'll tell you, Orville was a breath of fresh air at first, but I can see that they were dealing with a lot of copyright loopholes. They couldn't exactly make Star Trek stuff, so they did their best to try to work around it and make loopholes. So the bad thing about it was there was plenty of stories that they made that made no sense. Case in point, the one where they made first contact with alien species and didn't even bother to study the race for years to know their customs, history, and everything else, or anything else of that nature before going there. And so what ends up happening, they find out that this alien race of psychopaths are all about star signs, and they find out that the crew was born on a certain year according to their star signs that labels them criminals right off the bat. And so they ended up in this position where the three crew members, I think it was two crew members that were imprisoned by the people on the planet, were imprisoned because of their star sign, because they didn't stop to think, oh, maybe we should sit back for a second and observe these people before making first contact. No, they just hopped right in there. Don't give two licks. And that's kind of you know, the lesson to be learned with that video. You need to observe before you jump in. There was a couple other ones that were kind of meh, but for the most part, I want to say that it was more entertaining. I should say that because, you know, you had the guy, he's a comedian anyway, but it was way more entertaining than what the Trek was coming out with at the time, which was Discovery. So there you go. Snow, will double check real quick, make sure we got all the science off of here. Pretty sure we did. All goody two shoes. Alright, so we got all the crew on board, we got all the science on board. She's definitely going to need to be refueled here. But until then, let's go ahead and go back to Kerbin. Let's go ahead and undock. I think that's one thing about the new SSTO that I made. I need to fix the wings because it doesn't have the ability to have cells and stuff pop up on the bottom. It's definitely a super prototype for sure. Not bad, I just drawn that way. Okay, Roger Rabbit. You know, when I was an itty bitty kid and I saw Roger Rabbit for the first time, it had been out for a long time since then, but I saw it for the first time. Yeah, I can say as a young tiny man, I was taking a breath. I was. The art was palpable. Re-entry probe core initiated, and trajectories is online. Let's give it a little push. We just need a little push. Alright, looks good. YouTube didn't ping me. Oh no, Gizmo, no. Gizmo, did you see the new Star Trek Academy? Pretty cool, huh? Re-entry confirmed. Heading in. Going in for Jebediah maneuver in 3, 2, 1. Looks like we're going pretty fast here. I'm going to try to bleed some of this off. Switching over to cockpit control. Stability assist online. We're about halfway through the electricity. Let's try to keep her stable. Touchdown in 3, 2, 1. We're on the road. Whoa, what the hell? That was one hell of a break. And recover in 3, 2, 1. Oh, we just barely. We're about $5,000 short of $1 million. So close. Oh, before I do that though, the wheeled contraption. Let's do that. I think you guys saw this one already. I use the turboshaft engine for the rotors, and I spin it using the reaction wheels. Because if this is going to be driving on another planet, there's not going to be any air. So these are pretty. The turboshaft engine are pretty much the only usefulness they have are to spin. I tried the other way. I tried putting Rover servos on, rotation servos on there. Let's just say they're very difficult. It's temper tantrum. It's temper tantrum. For some reason they'll go and then they'll stop and then they'll go and they'll stop. I even tested it. I had like a little thing that I tested. Check it out. I built a little thing to test it right here. And I turned them on. I got the rotation servo there and everything's off, the motor's off and everything else. It's not locked. And of course I got the turboshaft here. And all I did was put a little air on it try to make it go around. This thing spins really nice, but this thing, it gets caught. It spins, stops. It spins, it stops. Or it doesn't even move, which I had to put hydraulic cylinders on it in order to push it. So we're not using these rotation servers. We're just going with the turboshaft engine. Maybe some grippy pads on the wheels. You know what? You're right, Gary. Gosh damn it, when you're right, Gary. Let me put some grippy pads on the wheels. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be freaking amazing. That's going to be so cool for grippy pads on the wheels. That's going to be really, really... That's, we get it, feels. Damn you. So anyway, yeah, we don't have any grippy pads, sorry. But it's fun regardless. So you're going to hear a lot of banging. It's going to sound like this thing has like a garbage can for wheels, but it is fun. Or you know, I'll just do this since a lot of people are really hating that. I will go ambient light boost. That's a little better, right? 2, 1. And I'm pressing the W key. It's so nice. These things work so nice. I'm pressing the W key. I'm moving forward. And I can press the D key and I can turn left or right. All right, here we go. Woo! Like a freaking locomotive, baby! We're doing about 30 meters per second. All right, full stop. Now, here's the cool bit. Notice that we really haven't gone into our electricity much just because we got this powerhouse right here. But here's the cool bit. These turboshaft engines, if they're spinning, they generate electricity. It's a lot like an electric car. I can hit the W key and burn up a lot of power. But if I'm going downhill, all I gotta do is take the W key off, and the inertia that keeps this thing rolling will start to regenerate the batteries. It's cool. It's cool. You'll start to regenerate the batteries if you go downhill with this thing. So it can travel at night, as long as there's hills. Alright, we can just bring that back, recover. We'll lose a little bit of money because it's kind of far away, but